For so many years, I've hidden behind a mask, playing a character, finding my identity, my personality from what I do. Who I am as an extension of an arm or a leg, the way I can bend in half or sway softly to the rhythmical beats, each perfect note acting as another chink in the register of my self-worth. But what happens when that is taken away? When you realise the system was all a dream, or a nightmare at times? You are left with the raw human, without the superhuman abilities to complete the impossible, the adrenaline rushes that once made you feel invincible, now a reminder of what you've lost. The ordinary, raw, and at times broken human. As dancers, we rarely have a moment to stop and actually learn about ourselves outside of dance. The person we become is moulded meticulously from the womb, smoothing out our rough edges with extreme discipline, hiding our insecurities with concealer, and holding our pain with hairspray. But when you face an injury, it's like meeting yourself for the first time. The stripped, unedited version, a version that I have never even met myself, let alone let anyone else meet. What did I actually enjoy outside of dance? What made my heart sing if it wasn't those rhythmical notes and the delight of the ching when the register would validate another moment where I almost reached perfection? It was like unpeeling the layers of an onion. Slowly but surely, the tears and sting of removing those outward superficial blankets would uncover the natural and pure core that lay underneath. It's a painful process, one that requires you to carefully consider who you actually are, outside of the shoes that blistered the skin of your toes and occasionally the drawstrings of your heart. I was left with a stranger staring back at me from the mirror. Someone I had never met before, neither had I really wanted to meet. She didn't have the same air of success or determined expectation, the make it happen mentality that had wrapped me with more layers than I could wish for. It was hard to realise that the person staring back at me had been my closest companion for my whole life. Yet I hardly knew a thing about her. Too busy with the register, too distracted to get to know her, too scared to find out if what she wasn't compatible with the dreams and goals I'd set for myself. Yet here I was, face to face, and nowhere to hide. I've turned the camera on and I literally don't even know what to say. It's been almost 4 weeks now since my injection that you probably saw in my last vlog. And it has been a rough old time. I don't want to sit here and do a whole sob story because I fully realise I am so unbelievably lucky. But even, people who have a lot and have a lot to be grateful for still go through difficult periods with their physical and mental health. And I've definitely felt like that is me at the moment. And there's no shame in saying that. It's been a really, really tricky time mentally and physically. And I honestly here in March, and it's not even March, it's April now, and I think the hardest thing is just realising when I think back to myself in October when I first injured myself, I just couldn't imagine myself still being in the same position so many months later, but here I am. And yeah, it's been a real struggle. I think on this channel I try and keep everything upbeat, keep everything very positive, but I'm gonna be really honest with you that this has been the most challenging period of my whole life, and it's made me question everything, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just been very overwhelming. Obviously, you guys know that my best friend and flatmate left around about the same time I had my surgery. So that was a huge life change. And then obviously had surgery, huge life change. Your whole life is, when you get injured, it gets thrown, like all your routines, everything that you used to work for is just kind of thrown up in the air. And I guess when you go into a recovery period, you prepare yourself for the time that you're going to be recovering for. So I kind of prepare myself, okay, 3 months, just get through 3 months. That's literally was my mentality when I went in. Bad mentality, I know. And so it's, been however long now, for 5 months, and I still have so much swelling and quite a lot of pain. Even walking is still pretty painful, which is just crazy to even admit. And that is just really discouraging. I think if I'd prepare myself for like an 8th-month recovery, you kind of prepare yourself at the beginning, because I prepared myself for a lot shorter recovery. I think that is really what is mentally challenging me. It feels like there isn't an end to this, which is what I think is, I always say with workouts, if you can kind of see the timer and know when you're going to finish, then it helps you get through the workout. And I kind of wish I had that for this injury right now. I wish I could just see how much time I had left before this kind of nightmare would go away. At the moment, we can't predict that. As I said, I had an injection 4 weeks ago. I've done everything I possibly can to get this better. I've been resting pretty much for 4 weeks, not being allowed to do pretty much anything. I've done floor bar every day, but without pointing my foot or putting any pressure on my ankle. So I feel like the most out of shape I've ever been in my life, which is difficult because, I feel like my body's changing and there's nothing I can do about it. And that is an emotion that is so difficult to articulate. And very few people understand what that really feels like as a dancer. So, and it just makes you think, every day that I'm not dancing is like another day away from where I want to be. So yeah, I think the biggest question a lot of people are asking me, and I've been asking myself, will I ever get back to dancing? It feels like it's been so long. I don't know, for some people on much longer recovery journeys, this probably sounds absurd. So I want to respect the fact that, some people are on super long recovery journeys. But for me, this should have been a 3-month one. So I think that is why this one, it feels challenging, because I shouldn't be where I am right now. But I know in my heart, like, that dancing is, I think more than anything, it solidifies how much dancing means and how much I need to dance, because without it, I feel like something is missing. That sounds very cliche, but it's the honest truth. Like, when I was struggling with my sleep, I was like waking up in the middle of the night and just having such a strong urge just to dance, which, it's like 3 a.m. in the morning. Like, Hannah, don't start dancing now, you're going to ruin your whole recovery. But my heart was just like, I just need to dance so badly, which I guess is a good thing, because I know I'm in the right profession. But yeah, it does takes a toll on your mental health when it's been such a long-term journey. And I'm just trying to process those emotions. I went home last week because I was hoping the doctor would say I would be able to do some things, but I still wasn't able to. It's kind of just a waiting game now. There's no kind of timeline or anything. It's just waiting until my ankle feels better, because we tried all the physical therapy, all the exercises, and it was just making it chronically worse. So now we've tried complete rest and the injection. Things are getting better, but they're just so small that I almost can't notice them. So that's really difficult to sometimes feel like you're feeling any improvement, especially when you're in a difficult frame of mind as well. But back to the question, will I dance again? And I can tell you guys that I'm going to try everything in my ability to be back on stage as soon as I possibly can. I'm hoping that when I'm back it's going to taste even sweeter, because this has been such a difficult journey. I know everyone says, oh, you're learning, you're growing in this somehow. I have to say, this journey has just felt horrible. Like, I don't feel like I'm growing. I feel like a bit crushed. But in the crushing is when new wine is made. There's that song I always listen to, and it says in the Bible, you have to crush the grapes to make new wine. And I'm just hoping in this crushing season that something new is going to come out of me, and fresh inspiration, fresh fruit. But right now things are really tough. I think one of the biggest things I've been realizing is that when I'm in my super low moments, is that I need to, as much as it's hard and you want to close in and you don't want to tell anyone and you feel ashamed and you feel embarrassed and you feel irrational and stupid, it's like telling someone is really important. And getting help is really important. So I strongly encourage you, if you are in a low season of your life, it doesn't have to do with injury or anything, just in a low season of your life, to really reach out for help, because it's really important to be able to process with people, especially if it's irrational, to process with people, to help them sort through your thoughts and just offer sometimes it's not even advice, it's just they're there with you. And going home to my family this week definitely did that for me. Just having people there and reaching, like, sometimes I'd shut myself in my room when I was having a really hard moment, because I didn't want my parents to see me like that. I didn't want to admit that I was really struggling. But being there with them and allowing them to hold me and comfort me in my hardest moments is probably, it was so helpful. And it made you feel better afterwards. I don't even know how to say it. It sounds like such a simple solution. It's not a simple solution, but it just helps in those really, really, really difficult moments. But yeah, I just wanted to jump on here and say, I will be back dancing one way or another. It's just going to take a little longer than I hoped. And as much as I feel discouraged, disappointed, devastated, this is not the end. So, for those of you struggling out there, in whatever season of life that you're in, I hope that what you take away from this video is, even in the darkest of circumstances, even when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, even if you feel like you're taking steps backwards and not steps forwards, it's going to be okay. Hold the people close to you, reach out for help if you need, invest in help if you need, because it will be worth the investment. I can 100% assure you on that. And I want to say, don't give up. Sometimes that, at the moment, that phrase hurts, because in some ways I feel like I've had to give up in order to get better. So I guess the best advice I could give you is let go, believe, trust, and all things are going to come into place at the right time. Maybe it's not the right time that we foresee, but things will improve. Just got to keep waking up, getting through one day at a time. The light will come eventually. Okie dokes, I have spoken for way too long. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Comment this emoji if you made it all the way to the end of my long spiel. I miss sharing my dance life with you guys. I just hope I'll be back to it very soon. Meanwhile, if you want, you can sign up to my weekly newsletter where I share some of the things that I am learning in this time. I know I'm growing somehow. I know that the lessons I'm learning now will eventually help me when I'm back up and running. If you guys do want to check out my free newsletter, I will link it down in the description below. I hope you guys will join me on this rather long journey. So yeah, click the subscribe button and join me on the journey. We will make it to the other side. Guys, keep dreaming big and making it happen, no matter how dire the circumstances may look. We can do this.